Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Saturday, February 8th. Tom Leach along with Ellis Starr pinch hitting for Jim Goodman this week as we take a look at the late pick four and a bunch of graded stakes races down at Tampa Bay Downs, including a prep for the Tampa Derby. And this is also the NHC, the National Handicapping Challenge event out in Las Vegas, which is where Ellis is. It's some of the best handicappers in the country are gathered out there, so that's going to be a fun event, I'm sure.
Yes, it is, Tom. It actually is. I would certainly say best. I also say luckiest because qualifying, you can't buy your way to the NHC and you have to qualify. So certainly I am not was lucky. I did not qualify. I'm here mostly for work with Equibase, but I am hopefully going to get a seat in the contest that gets the last chance into it.
Well, Jim Goodman's competing, so and I'm sure several Kentuckians are, so we'll wish everyone luck, but especially those from the Commonwealth. Let's jump right into the card at Tampa. It's going to lead off with the 8th race, which is the Grade 3 Endeavor on the turf at a mile and a 16th for fillies and mares. There is a big favorite in here, Ellis, so tell me how you're going to play the Endeavor.
Well, you know, these kinds of races, you first thing, whenever you look at a race, try and find a vulnerable favorite, and I don't think that Stormy is. I really did take a critical look trying to find some horse I could use to beat her, but it just doesn't look like anything I could do in the race. So I'm going to end up just going with her and play pick threes, and, you know, always strategy, I'm sure you talk about a lot as well. When you have a horse you think is going to win, instead of betting $20 to win to get 30 back, you try and play a pick three or something. So we'll start at pick three, and I know we're mostly talking about the pick four, but certainly single pick three, and you can also single very inexpensive pick five. My ticket's going to be.
Yeah, when we get to our pick four, we can just remind folks, if you got Stormy like we do, you can just get a free space there and play a pick five. She's my pick too, just a huge class edge. She has done most of her best racing at 1 mile. This is a mile to 16th, so, and coming off a layoff. So that would be the only question if you were looking to find something. But her class edge is so significant that I couldn't go against her. There were a couple of horses that each have 2 wins at Tampa that if you want to play within the race, you could see what the prices are. Dynatail and Phantom Opening. Since they've had shown an affinity for that surface down there at Tampa. The 9th race is the Suncoast for 3-year-old fillies at a mile and 40 yards. We've seen, I know Rusty Arnold had, so at least one horse, Rusty Arnold had a filly that came out of this race and another down south to then come up and win the Ashland. This is a nice group. I did not have a strong opinion. I ended up on We the Clouds, who is stretching out around 2 turns, but has the pedigree to really welcome that. And ran a nice race off a layoff, was a very impressive maiden winner at Keeneland for a guy named Tim Ham, who doesn't run a lot of horses at Keeneland, and then laid the filly off until a few weeks ago, and she came back, had a little bit of a trouble trip, and got up within a length at the finish, I think was 3rd. So I'm going to take that one, but I think I would go deep when we get to the pick four. Turtle Tracks is an interesting one, horse that I liked in the Goldenrod for Ian Wilkes, and she had some trouble in there, so I'm willing to give her another chance. Blame Debbie makes the second start for Graham Motion. Mo2 also comes out of the Goldenrod for Kenny McPeak and ran pretty well there. And then Embossed has one here and looked good doing it, so I thought all of those were worth considering, and maybe even 1 or 2 more if you want to go deeper. Ellis, how'd you see the Suncoast?
Well, I see it both ways. I use everybody, and for the pick three, going back to the last race, Scott Stormy, you can certainly use all here. I'm going to use 3 horses in the next race, but in the pick four, I'm only going to use 3. A lot of horses stretching out for the first time, Tom, as you said, and from what you said about the last race with horses having run at Tampa being an edge. And I'm going to start with the rail. You look at a route, a ground on the dirt, you want to see the horse on the inside, and Lucretia is that horse, and she's got good tactical speed. She's a winner over the track, stakes winner. She won the Sandpiper at 6 furlongs. She's also won on the grass. She's got a really nice workout, actually a pair with the most recent one, 48 flat, 3rd best of 82. I went and looked at her breeding using some of the tools we have, really easy, and not the sire, because Into Mischief we know is one of the top sires of last year for sure. But the dam Verdana Bold, I always like to check to see if a horse can get 2 turns. And it turns out that Verdana Bold produced the Sunland Oaks winner, whose name I can't remember now, in 2017. And so this is certainly good. Another good sign is Centeno sticks with Lucretia over We the Clouds. No knock on Suarez, but he does get off. So I think this horse will get the 2 turns. I like the position. I certainly like the breeding on both sides. I'm going to use the 4 Motu, who you mentioned briefly, Alpha the Goldenrod. McPeak, very good. Average, I'd say, on percentage, but very good with getting price horses to come back off layoffs at this level. Ortiz is riding. The training looks good. A couple 4 furlong workouts. Certainly proven already at the distance with a pair of seconds. And I'm going to use the 3-260 for Cassie. Already a stakes winner, won a Floridbred Stakes at 2 turns at Gulfstream in September. Comes off a win again over the track in the Gasparilla. So I'm using 1-4-3 here. I like Lucretia as a win bet.
Grade 3 Tampa Bay Stakes is the 10th race, 4-year-olds and up, going a mile and a 16th on the turf. Again, I did not have a strong opinion in here. Tell me who you like.
Well, similar to, I don't say similar, but close to Got Stormy in terms of class. You know, there's a grade 3. March to the Arch won the Wise Dan last June, of course, in a mild upset, and then he took on some big horses later on. I mean, 4th to Got Stormy and the 4-star Dave, and beaten 3/4 of a length in the Shadwell. It was just a big effort with trouble. Took a couple months off, pointed for his 2020 campaign, and came back in the Sunshine Millions turf, which he was eligible for. A step down, but did it professionally, got up by a head. He's going to move forward second off the layoff. So I have to look at him. Caribou Club, already a very nice, also stakes winner. Almost the same pattern, except he has not had a race this year. He ran second beating the neck in the Artie Schiller in a big effort and won the grade 3 Baltimore and Washington before that. And I'll use the 2 Devamani because I can't leave Chad Brand out. I haven't seen him running line, of course, but I got a feeling he was 26-1 in an allowance race 2 back when he won at Aqueduct in November, and then 4th, that was on the dirt. Rosario's in here. You've got Brown and Rosario and a horse that may be an underachiever. On the other hand, 4 wins, 6 seconds, 3/3 in 19 races. Can't knock him, so I'm going to use the 1-4-2, but March to the Arch would be my top pick.
Yeah, March to the Arch and Caribou Club, I think on class are certainly the places to start. I'm going to try to beat him with a Pletcher horse, the 6 Halliday. I like the 95 buyer figure from the number 12 post last time at Gulfstream in the Tropical Park Derby. That's a horrible post there. And this is a 4-year-old, so there's still some upside, maybe more so than some of the older fillies and mares in here. So I'm going to take a look at Halliday. The only other one that I'd written down, and I'm going to regret possibly leaving out the Chad Brown horse, but when we get to the pick 4, because I had to keep the ticket manageable from a cost standpoint, but certainly within the race you could add the Chad Brown in here. The other one is Hembry from Mike Maker's barn. Horse ran really well last late summer and early fall, and I think has some class too, maybe a notch below March to the Arch and Caribou Club, but close enough that I'm going to throw that one in as well to have another shot at a little bit of a price. The 11th race is the Sam F. Davis for 3-year-olds at a mile and the 16th on the road to the Kentucky Derby, and more specifically there, the road to the Tampa Bay Derby. And I was trying to talk myself into going against Independence Hall, but I'm gonna go ahead and pick that one. I didn't like the figure drop from the big Nashua win to the win in the Jerome, but on his best day, he certainly did look good. I just not sold enough certainly to single him. The horse that I was trying to talk myself into was Ajaweed down on the inside. Big improvement in the Remsen for Kieran McLaughlin, and I like that Rosario stays with the mount on this one. If you want to go one deeper, Premier Star's 2 for 2. Distance is a question, just because he hadn't done it yet. But the 2 really nice wins from a figure and standpoint and visually as well. So those 3 were the ones I was taking a look at for the win pick. I'm going to lean to Independence Hall. Who do you like in the Sam F. Davis, Ellis?
I'm using 3, but I am going to try and beat him. I think Independence Hall is a nice horse. I'm not going to leave him off. Certainly pick 3s and pick 4s because the goal is to win the bet. And he's been dominant in his 3 races. They've all been around 1 turn, though, 7 furlongs and 2 1-turn miles. On the speed figure decline, I'm not as concerned about that because the horse I'm going to mention in a second also has one. When a horse comes back from 2-year-old to 3-year-old, I will give them 1 start to decline. I think Funnyside did the same thing, and other good 3-year-olds have done that in their first start after 2 months off because it is the first on the road back. You're building blocks, you're doing from this time forward. But my pick's going to be Sol Volante, the 2. And this is an interesting play. I've been following Patrick Biancone more in Florida lately. He's doing very well with these turf-to-dirt horses. First of all, Sol Volante is one of only 2 horses in a race with 2-turn wins. Those 2 wins, he won his first 2, both on the grass around 2 turns, and then they tried him on dirt in the Mucho Macho Man. He rallied from 6th to 3rd. I didn't have much of a chance, but he was also in for the experience, I think. Again, another horse coming off a layoff from the end of November. And he was 7 clear of the rest of the field, even though he was 3rd. What's interesting is the other foal of the dam, the only other foal, was a multiple stakes winner, I should say, on the dirt, going long. A lot of races at tracks some people may not play, like Century and Hastings, but a very good horse. And the horse, Sol Volante, earned a 109 Equibase figure on the grass, and then regressed to a 98. Now, when you compare that to Independence Hall, he went 107.94. So Sol Volante's faster on speed figures, in my opinion. So he's definitely a horse I'm going to bet to win. I like to use Independence Hall. I am going to use Ajaweed in this case. I think it's the same kind of a pattern. The Remsen turned out okay because Shotsky came back to run second to the Withers. He's really not run a bad race. The Futurity was so-so, but his other race, the Belmont Mile, and this. So I'm going 2-4-1 in this race, Tom. I like Sol Volante quite a bit.
Yeah, that was the next one I had on my list, and I was going to get to the pick 4 here in just a second. It was I couldn't narrow down any one spot enough to make the ticket affordable, so I had to start Xing out some horses. But you make some really good points on the Biancone horse. Let's go to the pick 4 tickets now. This starts in the 9th race with the Suncoast and finishes with a filly and mare 1 mile claimer at $16,000. So give me your pick 4 ticket starting with the Suncoast, and we'll remind folks that you got Stormy in the 8th. If you want to turn this into a pick 5, you could single her. But we'll start with the Suncoast. Give me your pick 4 ticket and what you're going to use in the 12th.
Well, I think I'm just going to use 1, 3, and 4, even though I will say you could use all on the cheap tickets. My ticket would use all horses. It would be 9 with 3 with 3 with 1, which is a $40.50 ticket. So, but I'm going to go and try and do it for $1 and play it heavier. I'm going to play the 1 Lucretia, the 3 260, and the 4 Motu in this leg. Then in the 10th race, 1, 2, 4, March of the Arch, Devamani, and Caribou Club, and in the Sam Davis, 1 Ajaweed, 2 Sol Volante, 4 Independence Hall. And believe it or not, in the last, that's where I'm going to single. I think there's a boatload of pace in the race, and I like number 9, I Got a White Face, to get up and improve just a bit off his 3rd place finish on January 19th.
I'm going to start with a 5er in the Suncoast, 2, 4, 7, 8, 9. We the Clouds being the win pick in there. In the 10th, 1, 4, 6, 7, which is March to the Arch, Caribou Club, Halliday, and Hembry. In the Sam F. Davis, I'm just going to stick with Ajaweed and Independence Hall, and then I'm going to go 4 deep, and probably going to go back and look at this again and consider adding the 9. But I've got 2, 3, 5, 6. Didn't have a real strong opinion in here. The 3, it's Gimme's Girl. Has strong local connections and good speed, and I kind of lean to horses that either had done well here or that have trainers that do well here. So you got Lady Love with 4 wins at Tampa, the 2, the 5 Tearless with Derek Ryan and Castanon, and the 6 Mad Grace with Jordan Blair and Gallardo. So 2, 3, 5, 6 on the last leg. So I'm 5 by 4 by 2 by 4 for 50 cents would be an $80 ticket. So it's a little pricey, but it's a tough sequence. You can single Got Stormy, but for me it was tough to narrow it down in the other races. Best of luck wherever you're playing on Saturday, and to all of the players out at the NHC, including our own Jim Goodman and Ellis Starr, and we'll hopefully have tales of triumph to talk about. And Ellis, thanks for the time, and good luck to everybody. We'll see you next week on the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.